pull up right now. We can go across the street and go stand in front of a Ferrari and be like, today was a good day. Like, how goofy is that, dog? We could go to the hotel lobby, me and you. I'm gonna do a whole day for us. we could go to the hotel lobby, the best hotel lobby out this joint, and be like,
the Ritz.
You ready? Living like this ain't easy. Watch this. Then we gonna slide. You ready? We gonna go to the jeweler and we gonna be like, yo, can I try on one of them watches? And we gonna be like, just left the jeweler. It's about to turn up now. Like, this is what we doing. Like,
where we at for dinner? Where we at for dinner with the plates on the table?
Man, well, we gonna hit McDonald's, but we ain't gonna tell them we gonna hit McDonald's. We gonna slide to Roof Chris, right? We gonna go in and we gonna ask them, can we get a bag? Right? Just because we got some stuff we need to get out the car. We can go outside. Hey, yo, you wildin'. Take this picture of me real quick. Like, yo, eating good. Like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, am I tripping? Am I the only one in here that knows that, like, this is what's going on right now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is real.
This is really happening right now. People care more about how many likes they get or followers than what's in their bank account of their spirit, their soul, the people around them, their money.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what we doing?
Yeah.
Put me on the Celestine prophecy. Nothing here is stopping me. Consciously or bodily, low energy don't bother me. Love is my priority, so my vibrations 444 sonically. My brain working out, meditation, my cardio. They hid it from us in the books. You provided the audio.
Sensational, man.
I love that shirt.
Feeling good. Appreciate you. Corduroy combo.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. This is Black Fly on the Wall. Social media injustice. Audio on. Camera rolling. Action.
Welcome to another episode of Mental Wealthness. Got my boy, my guy.
Yes, sir.
You know, somebody I look up to. You know, my boy's Jiaani. Introduce yourself, my man.
Man, I appreciate that introduction on top, though. Yeah, man, I am Jiaani. Man, father, husband, artist, visionary.
Mm-hmm.
Visionary.
For sure. You know, we have a lot of conversations offline, and we've done some work before in the past, but I think the biggest thing was we always knew we needed to link up and sit down and have a one-on-one and just talk. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing about our culture is like the social media and how things operate within the social media landscape, the wins that we see on social media, the negativity that we see on social media, and the injustice that we see on social media as well in regards to just how, as a culture, we move and operate and how much value that we place on social media. And so, like, I thought it would be critical for you and I to sit down and just have a conversation about social media injustice and how what happens on social media is a reflection of what happens in our culture on the streets, or the interactions we have with friends and colleagues and business partners. And just wanted to expound on that and really, really shed some light on some ways that individuals in our networks and in our circles and in our families and children and cousins and nieces and nephews can operate and move on social media without losing themselves, and really, really shedding some light on that.
Right.
So, man, thank you for being here.
Man.
And let's dive into it, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
This is an interesting topic to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So, how has life been, man? Let's look back. Let's take a look back over. Say it's always good to I think. Like I learned something recently that talked about how strong and how powerful it is for us to play back our days. So to sit down and you lay down and you go to bed and the phones are off and you're about to go to sleep, you just have that moment, that mindfulness moment of just playing back your day, right? So thinking about what you did in the evening time, what you did while you was working, what you did while you was at the studio, the interactions with your children, your wife, your family members, the phone calls you took, all the way up until you woke up that morning. And so I also think it's healthy to expand that and look at how have my last 30 days been? How have my last 60 days been? How has my first quarter been? You know, spring is here. There's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of change.
Yeah.
And so how has life been?
Life has been interesting as of lately. This is the first year that I'm kind of locked into my culture on the Persian side,
Mm-hmm.
and the Persian calendar is spring is the new year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, at this age is the first time in my life I'm starting to realize like my new year started like a week ago.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And just taking my time with the family, taking my time with myself, it has changed a lot for me in the last 30 days, in the last year, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, what have been some things that have changed in your personal life that's impacted you and how you operate and move in the landscape of your life?
Yeah, so I think for me, just like people, right? Learning that, before I got married, I think a lot of the traumas and things like that I had before marriage had started to come out in my marriage, and so we did a lot of work, in that realm, and then it changed how I navigated with people a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely changed for sure.
And like you said something critical about like how we operate and how connected we are to nature. I think with the Persian calendar, with the New Year being in
Yeah,
spring,
yeah.
that's naturally how we should operate.
For sure.
Like we should operate with not New Year being January 1st, but
Right.
we follow the spring equinox, the winter
it.
solstice, and we follow the sun, right?
Mhm.
Like the sun is the most powerful entity in our universe. And I think it's very critical that we follow that energy and that source, because that has a positive and a negative effect on how we view ourselves and how we sync up with nature.
Yes,
I
sir.
think like even myself and all the circles and networks that I'm in, like with spring being here, people started to feel that shift of, oh, like my vibration is low today. I need to do things. I need to work extra hard to get it up. And I think like social media fasting is around this time is essential, like to really
Yeah.
really getting your energy levels balanced to where you need them to be.
Yeah, so for me, like, man, I from like January, probably like the 7th, man, I got off social media for like probably like a month and a half. And I didn't know why. I was just like, man, I gotta get off this. You know
What
I mean?
was it? What kind of energy was you feeling with being on social media, and then how did you know like within yourself it was time to take a break?
Oh man, I felt like a like a Instagram, like I don't know how to
Like you needed to purge, or like you needed to. You feel like it was like a something heavy that was weighing on you, or was it that you felt like you was just engaging in something to be doing it, but it wasn't intentional?
Yeah, I think for me it was a trying to keep up with things, and that's not how I move. If I have to play the game from a business standpoint, then I could do it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In the sense of like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can be good at this. But once it started feeling like it was changing me,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I got to get off this.
What kind of changes did you notice within yourself?
Yeah, so I think for me, just moving too fast, being a little less present with my family and my children, and no one said anything to me about it until I got off of it for 3 weeks, and everyone started saying things like, you've been real different lately. I'm like, yeah, in what way? They're like, you're just more present.
Mm.
And that's when I realized, like, damn, this is like a real thing. Like,
It is.
This is you know what I mean?
It is. One thing I do love too is like with iPhones is that you can track your screen time,
Oh man.
and then so you can see how much you're engaging in
Yeah.
the app.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's pretty mind blowing what you see. I think the average American spends like 6 to 8 hours
That's scary.
on social media
Yeah.
a day, and we have to understand that social media and media in general
Yeah.
is psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's warfare in a positive way if you can manage those types of things that you view. And then there's warfare in a negative way if you're consuming negative information. I think we're seeing that big debate and that big warfare right now with TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
right? TikTok is on the verge of possibly being banned in the United States
Right.
based on the type of content that is rolling out to Americans. And I think us as individuals have to be critical. It's critical that we manage the type of media that we digest, because like you are what you take in. And I think I've noticed that as well. And I'm coming up on, I'm going to be doing a fast from social media next week, especially from the business page, just to reset and not feel like I'm having to post to keep up with the algorithm or post to keep up with business, or it just takes away the complete intentionality out of being engaging in something that you love to do. And it also can get you to the point where you don't like what you're doing because you're doing it for something else.
That's it.
And I think that's something that I experienced just as a person that's running a social media page. You know how it is. Like, you have a business with your sneaker store, you're an artist, and you understand that posting it is part of the business.
Yeah.
But it's also too, you have to start taking a look at yourself and say like, well, what do I need right now separate from what's going on with the business?
I think also, man, we don't really, we're in the midst of the middle of this right now. We don't know what the result, we don't know what the end results of social media in 5 years are gonna look like. And for me, I want to play this race of life long. I want to look at 50 like I'm 28. I don't, so for me, I'm constantly thinking ahead of, where do I want to be at 38, 39, 35, 36? Who do I want to be? And that's why I told Tony over there about his shirt. His shirt was so fire because I'm constantly finding and creating myself. And if I'm looking left and right, even if you're strong-willed and you have a strong mind, these distractions can throw you off tremendously.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's just like, man, we really don't know what we're doing to our mind. It's it's overworking, it's overstimulating. In my opinion, you know what I'm saying?
Overstimulation.
Sure.
As a creative, what are things that you do to feed your soul?
Man, my children, my wife, family, dog, family. You know what I'm saying? Family for sure. Exercise has been something big for me lately. Meditation, steam room, things. Quiet.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
As so like you mentioned that like people start to say like, oh, you changed, you're more mindful.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely like a light bulb that goes off within yourself. Like, well, if I've changed, who was I before?
Yeah.
And it makes us more aware of, whenever I do get back on the apps and I do bring the apps back into my life, into my regimen, I'm going to be a lot more mindful of how I use them and how frequently I use them.
That's it.
As a father, do you have to manage how they consume social media? What are some things as a father, as a parent, that you do to monitor that?
Yeah, so my daughter, she was on TikTok for a while. She's gonna be 13 this year, and we had to get her off of it. You know what I mean? Even she told me directly, like, Dad, like, I feel like since I've been off, like, I've changed in a better way.
Wow.
But she goes to school, and the pressures of obviously being a young girl in today's society, she tells me, like, I feel like I gotta dress like this, or I feel like I have to be like this. And but it's, her mother and myself, we often have conversations with her on how important it is to just be yourself. But if we're not giving ourselves time to do that, so she sees it through us, you can't tell a child that, a lot of parents, they tell their children one thing, but they're not living by that same code.
There you go.
And it's a tight line to walk these days. And like, when you really working to become whoever it is it's a tight thing, and it could become boring to children. Like, they're like, oh, this is boring. I don't wanna, you know what I mean? So and then with my son, he's the same age, but different mothers. So I tell his mom all the time, like, we have to limit him off of this thing. She's like, yeah, I know we should, but I still want him to be a kid. And I'm like, yeah, but being a kid,
that could be detrimental to them.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think our children should have social media, to be honest with you. It's no need for it.
What do you think? What do you? Because it's changed, because like when we were younger, we didn't have social media. Like the biggest thing that we had, I think we started to have MySpace like around
14,
15
16,
years old.
like that, yeah.
So we was coming into puberty, coming into, getting closer and closer to manhood, where MySpace now comes onto the market and it's like this big thing. But now it's a lot more accessible. And remember, we had to get on MySpace on the computer.
That was it. Yeah, you had the AOL with a dial up, and not only that, we probably was on there for maybe like 45 minutes
Right.
to an hour.
So yeah,
and that was
like
it.
it wasn't that because you're at school during the day, you get on it when you get off from school. But the biggest power that has shifted in media is the fact that media is now on our phones. So that's something that you continuously have on yourself and on your person, and it's something that you can consistently consume. And so I think for me, I think I've now transmuted a lot of the time that I spend on social media
I like that.
into healthy things.
Yeah.
So it's like I always am a person that looks at how is my life and how is it in comparison to where I want to be. And if it's not on the level of where I want it to be at in that moment, I have to say, okay, what are some things that I can do to cut out to get to that point? So I'm reading a book right now by Napoleon Hill called The Success of a Positive Mindset. And it's talking about, or the positive mental attitude. And so it's talking about PMA and NMA. And PMA is a positive mental attitude, and NMA is a negative mental attitude. And so I've learned that the type of things that I consume directly reflect whether I have a PMA or an NMA.
Let's go.
And so I have to consistently remind myself that if I'm going to consume positive content, it's going to positively affect my positive mental attitude.
Let's go.
And if I'm consuming negative content, it's going to negatively affect my negative mental attitude. And then that directly correlates with, okay, if I'm trying to move in this trajectory in life, I have to maintain PMA for long periods of time. So it directly syncs up into the universe and I can grasp the things that I want to do. And I've directly seen how that has positively affected my life by just diluting the things that I'm consuming on social media, transmuting that energy into reading and other healthy activities, and then applying those things in my life. Looking for the freshest kicks in town? Look no further than KIC Unlimited, keeping it collective. KIC is located in Apex, North Carolina, sneakerhead's paradise. They offer rare and unique sneakers that are perfect for everyday wear or for adding to your collection. And they don't just stop at shoes. The selection of vintage clothing is just as impressive. At KIC Unlimited, they believe that everyone deserves to look and feel their best, and that starts with the right pair of sneakers. So go check them out and see why they are one of the dopest sneaker stores in North Carolina. Stop by 103 North Salem Street, Suite B, Apex, North Carolina, 27502, and give them a call at 919-355-2441. KIC Unlimited.
What do you feel like has changed since you started doing that?
I'm a lot more present, and I notice the patterns in life.
Okay.
So they say that Robert Edward Grant is a big polymath guy, sacred geometry wizard, very, very big conscious being, and he does a lot of work. And one of his sayings is that you notice your ascension in consciousness as you notice the patterns in life. So that directly correlates with your ability to slow down and pay attention. But in the world that we live in, where we're getting a lot of input from multiple areas, the music in your car, you're scrolling on social media, you're taking phone calls, you're thinking about work, you're thinking about what you're going to cook, you're thinking about all these different things. It's like, okay, what is your consciousness your ascension in consciousness allows you to slow down and notice the patterns. So an example may be, I may be a type of person where I walk in the room and I notice that there's two similar types of plants in the room, but they're on opposite ends of the room. And I notice the beauty in that. Or I may see a flower or a rose in an office, and I say, you know what, that's the flower of life. I notice the patterns. Or I also notice synchronicities. Example would be, I told my fiance that I was in the gym working out. A guy asked me to spot him. I spot him. Everything is good. 6 hours later, I see him. He's actually a coworker of mine that's crossing the street at the same time of day that I'm sitting outside eating lunch, and it's him.
That's it.
And I'd never seen him before at my job, and I'd never seen him before in the gym. So it's the beauty of the average person whose mind is running 1,000 is not going to recognize that synchronicity. They're not going to recognize the math. And our path is mathematical. So we have to consistently recognize those signs so that we can continue to elevate.
Thanks.
So myself, in as far as transmuting the things that I do, it's all about me being able to notice the patterns in life, slow down and notice the beauty in life.
You know, the universe and God sends you many signs, like you just said. So it's like if you're not present, then you can't hear God. You know, the best way to hear God is silence.
Mm-hmm.
God is silent. He speaks in silence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, for a lot of us, another thing, you know, with to add on to what you're saying, that was so beautifully said too.
Thank you.
I think that, you know, everybody nowadays wants to look like each other. All of us, I feel like we've been all kind of like in this thing where all of us have been through it, where we see somebody and we're like, man, I want to look like that, or I want to be like this, or I want to, and it's becoming very one-dimensional instead of uniqueness and colors and the way everyone looks. And it's, you know, it's just, there's not a certain way that's beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Even the, you know what I mean? The brightest skin to the darkest skin. You know, me and my wife often talk about that, about like individuality is the most beautiful thing
Absolutely.
that a human being can bring.
Absolutely.
And I think with social media, it's becoming so, oh, this is working for him. Oh, I'm going to do that too. Oh, this is working for him. I'm going to do that too. And the individuality is not being placed in social media anymore.
Earl Nightingale says that,
man, I love Earl
you know, the boy.
Yeah.
He says that the duplication and the copying is what breeds contempt.
That's it.
So we have a lot of people that's waking up in life and doing things on autopilot because other people are doing it. Like one of the main questions, he you know, he's the basically the originator of a masterclass. And like, so when listening to Earl Nightingale, he's talking about, he's asking you through the audio, like, what's the reason why you do what you do? Like that simple question. Why are you wearing what you're wearing? Why are you working the job that you're doing? Yes. Why are you driving the car that you're driving? Yep. Why are you wearing the watch that you're wearing? Like you have to ask yourself why you're doing that. And if you don't have an answer, that's an area to assess in your life. And I think that's critical because we have a lot of people that get up and go to work, but they can't tell you why they're doing it. Is it to pay off your mortgage? Is it to save up for your child's college fund? What is it?
They don't even, a lot of people don't even have an answer to that in the sense of they don't, people are really scared to sit down with themselves because it's scary. It's a lot of things that your mother, your father, your uncles, your sisters, your cousins, your brothers, your grandparents, it's a lot that we are left with. Hence that generational thing, generational curses and things like that. Once you quiet the noise, shit get scary. Can we cuss a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, shit gets scary.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we numb ourselves. If it's not alcohol, if it's not weed, if it's not drugs, it's sex, it's porn, it's social media. You feel me? So it's the next thing. Is what can we find as the next thing? You know, and I think we've all been through it.
Yeah, I think we have too, and I can definitely echo what you're saying about that's the power of mindfulness, because mindfulness pushes you to be one with self. Like that's what you say, I am Jiaani. Like I am Aaron, I am Lyd. You know, I am. So like whenever you're living in that I am, you really, really are living in abundance and taking in and appreciating the detachments. Like the law of detachment is a very, very powerful law because it allows you to consciously say that I'm engaged in something that I'm willing to let go. Like think about how many things that people are engaged in that they're not willing to let go. Like if you had to in that moment, are you willing to let your career go? Are you willing to let your role of being the father go? There are people that have one child that lose that child. That child transitions. So they no longer have that title of being a mother or a father. But if you are living within that title and you are attached to that title, that's whenever people have psychotic breakdowns, suicide attempts, successful suicide attempts, harming themselves, harming others. They lose themselves because they live in a world of attachment, attachment to things. Even your title is a thing. You have to completely just be. And that's the power of looking at life and saying that I am completely 100% okay with just being I am.
And someone says I am at peace knowing that I am,
Mhm.
right? And I think that, man, none of us have it all the way figured out, and we're still on this journey, figuring it out and figuring out, what the recipe is, what works for me, what works for you,
Mhm.
and so for me, going back to the simplicity is the key.
Mhm.
Whenever I complicate shit, it doesn't work how I want it to work.
Mhm.
When I simplify, it's like, there
Yep.
it is. It was right there the whole time. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yep. And I like that too, because I apply that in my life, and I also apply like the law of the first.
Okay.
So once I make a decision on something, I don't like changing it,
Okay.
because that means that my consciousness and my subconscious had a conversation.
Okay.
In that moment of making a decision, I said, I'm making this decision and this is the most sound decision. But whenever you start to then take in external inputs
Mm-hmm.
to then motivate you to question your decision, that's when you make poor decisions. One of the best ways to look at that is whenever we were kids and taking a test, your teacher will always say, don't change your answers. Then when you get your test back, you notice that the ones you got wrong are actually the ones that you changed. Because a lot of times we can make wise decisions with our subconscious. So a lot of times we think that because we are conscious beings that our decisions are always conscious, and they're not. A lot of times we can make decisions off of our subconscious, which is something that is being fed through, again, the PMA and the NMA. Like our positive mental attitude and our negative mental attitude is what we consistently throw seeds at and water. That's our subconscious. Our subconscious are things that we cannot control. We can control what's going on in our conscious mind, and then that conscious mind then mitigates into our subconscious. So a lot of times people are on a negative frequency and a negative vibration because they consistently allow negative things into their conscious mind that then places negative actions and decisions into their subconscious. So a lot of times we have to be sound in the decisions that we make. That's actually one of the 13 principles of in the book Think and Grow Rich, is the ability to make sound decisions and to make decisions quickly. That's actually one of the main characteristics of the most wealthy billionaires and millionaires and CEOs in the world, is their ability to make decisions.
A lot of those people that will tell you that in the same breath, well, the thing is, they get to that space from a lot of mistakes and a lot of bad decisions.
Okay.
I believe, because I think that the only way we're all here, life is an experience, right? So we're here to experience each other. We're here to experience things, and through experience, you find more of who you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
to
I
you?
think so. Yeah.
And I think
Especially
so-
if you're mindful.
yeah.
If you're mindful.
Well, and I guess with some people don't have to make the mistake. They could just learn it off top. For me, I've made a lot of mistakes. So the lot of mistakes has helped me out.
And you can look at your siblings, like how many
For
siblings do
sure.
you have?
I have an older brother and a younger sister.
And you would probably say that they're completely different in the way that they make decisions.
Hands down.
So like me and my siblings are the same way. I'm more so of the characteristics of I seek wise counsel and I follow that wise counsel because I like to mitigate risk.
Okay.
So I like, for my first decision,
Yeah.
I like a whole bunch of tally marks in the first decision column to be my best decision.
I like that.
Versus I don't like learning the hard way. So I'm more so
I'm the
conservative a
opposite.
lot of times in what I do.
Okay.
Right. So I like to also just focus on mitigating risk and making sound decisions the first time. My sister like learning the hard way.
Yeah.
My brother like learning the hard way.
Yeah.
That's how we're all different. But they may have some positive characteristics about them to where they're a lot more free and thinking, and that abstract way of things allows them to be more creative and experience different experiences within their reality because they're not so focused on the structure of the decisions that they make. And you probably see that in your kids too.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like their ability to be free and just make decisions versus one of your children may be like, I need to think this through before I do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that type of way of thinking sometimes allows us to miss out on opportunities because we're so structured in what we do.
I think a lot of, not to get too far, left with this, but I think a lot of your spirit before you were here this time probably experienced a lot of things. And so maybe for
I
this,
agree with that 100%.
and for this go around, you're like, I'm
Yeah.
cool on that. Let's
Right.
make,
Right.
like
I agree with that 100%.
people will see somebody like, I'll give you an example, like a LeBron James. And they were like, oh, look at the talent in this person.
Mhm.
You don't know how many lives that spirit took to prepare to get to this life to
Yes.
become LeBron.
Yes.
And we're as people, we're thinking about just right now in this life. But what about your spirit, dog?
And that's a connection. And I was having a convection with my barber, and that
Shout out
is
to the barbers
shout
in
out
the
to the
game.
barbers.
The
in the
barbers
game.
got the knowledge,
I mean, the
right?
barbers are they're your therapist,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
They're your uncle.
For sure.
They everything that you thought you needed. But I had a conversation with my barber, and he was like, what's missing? What's missing in society? Like, look at where we are as a culture, as a society. What's missing? And I often say that our inability to synchronize with nature, understanding science, understanding spirituality, understanding the mastery of self, mathematics, physics, geometry, everything else is what's missing in our society. Because, like you said, sacred knowledge of like what you're discussing right now about understanding past lives and understanding that it's extremely likely that this is not the first time your soul has been living this experience. There's actually dozens and thousands of people that can sometimes have glimpses of remembrance of their past lives.
Yes.
There was actually a little boy on the news that was talking about how he lived in the 60s and he was a black woman. And he was able actually to go to the city that he used to live in and the apartment building that he used to live in, and told his mom that he was a black woman before and he died in the fire, and she looked it up and a black woman actually died in the fire in the same apartment that he identified.
Yeah.
The soul has been here, maybe not even in this particular time period, but your soul has been here before. And so understanding simple things like that will allow yourself to give yourself more grace.
Right.
And empathy.
Right.
As you're going through this simulation of life. And I think that's critical to provide yourself with that and be like, you know what? I'm not going to compare myself to this individual because I don't know what this individual soul has been through to get to this level.
And to add to that, we've heard many times, like Instagram is a highlight reel.
It is.
People aren't going up there to discuss what they're currently going through and how they had to do this and they had to do that and they had to do. So we're comparing other people's highlight reels to our own. And
Correct.
That's not healthy at all. I mean, what do they say? Comparison is the death to all joy. And it's the truth, bro. Yeah, I'm no better than you. You're no better than me. He's no better. Everybody is their unique, beautiful self. And I mean, I think that's what makes art. You know what I mean? Just people, you have something that is beautiful about you, me as well, right? And it's like figuring out where can we connect in that space. And I think that's what social media should be about, because it is powerful for networking. And I think it's a strong tool.
That's how we met.
Exactly. And look, you know what I mean? So I think that that's a beautiful thing, as well as if you can utilize it for motivation. I see guys on there in crazy shape. I'm like, oh man, this is, thank you.
I'm inspired by that.
I like that. You know what I mean? But I don't want to sit and look at it for 3 hours. I want
and say, I need to be just like this person.
In and out. I mean, because once you start taking a step back from it, you start to realize, like, damn, my life is beautiful. And what the hell am I doing? Why is it so important to me? It's not that important. My wife was saying last night, if we look at like the artists that when we were growing up, you're not going to see those artists every day. So you would pay to go see them.
Right.
And when you saw them, it was an experience because it wasn't so oversaturated. Even before you met your fiance, right? To go, there was something about her that made you want to go see her again.
Correct.
Again and again and again.
Correct.
So with social media, to overdo anything, especially all these foreign things that we don't even know, it's overstimulating the mind. And I think we're in a space now where we don't know what the results of this of yet. We do not know what this is going to look like in 10 years.
Correct. I think somebody was cracking a joke earlier about a particular energy drink, and they were saying that with this new energy drink, They was like, this may be one of those stories like, if you were drinking this particular energy drink in 2023,
yes.
if you was drinking this energy drink in 2023, there's a class action lawsuit about yada, 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 because like a lot of times it takes time for things to mature to be what they're going to be.
And that's
whether
why
they're
you
going to
gotta take
mature to
time.
be positive or they're going to mature to be
Negative.
negative. Like there's been social media apps that were created X amount of years ago,
Yeah.
and then now all of a sudden they're finding out decades later that there were privacy issues
Right.
and loss and sharing of information,
Right.
and now facing legal battles. And so things mature to what they're going to be. I think you said something critical that led me to ask you, what are some functional things that you do, right? You mentioned spending more quality time with your family and all of that. But when it comes down to meditation, what impact has meditation had on your ability to be?
A huge. It made me be more happy. Like right now I'm meditating because it's calm. It's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Jazz. I love jazz music. That helps me a lot. And
I've been listening to a lot of jazz.
Jazz is beautiful.
Yeah.
And just knowing that I don't got to do any extra. I don't have to, it's helped me be like, I don't have to, I guess just be me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm enough. And that's enough, So,
It gives you more so of a realization of being. And I think...
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I think we as people need to sit with ourselves because we often come into the world and we throw up on each other. And that has bothered me. Seeing how we all just dealing with traumas and things like that, we'll often go into a room of 10 people and everyone is throwing up on each other, throwing energy, just throwing instead of, complimenting one another and and then finding the real thing that this person might be going through and maybe trying to help with that. I think as people, I used to battle with this shit so much. I tell my wife, like, if I can't be me, what am I here for?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in a world where when you begin to be you, the world chastises you and tells you shouldn't be like this or you're too this and you're too, and nobody got it figured out. None of us got this shit figured out.
We're all living and trying to inspire to be our best selves.
That's it.
And I think that's what this quest is all about. It's about being the best version of you, and then letting your best version of you inspire the world. But you can't be your best version of you if you is a lot of replication and duplication of somebody else. It's okay to be your organic you. Like that's why I like whenever an artist tries like a new lane of music, because it's like there was something within that artist that inspired them to try this new sound, like this new, like when Drake did his last album. Like I liked it because it's what he wanted to do. Like that's what I took from that project. I took from the project of not the sound or not that it was house music or not that it was like probably like played in every club in Ibiza. It was more so like I enjoyed the album because I'm like, you know what? This sounds like he free. Freedom.
Yep.
And that's what creativity and art is all about. But a lot of times we can create paradigms and we can create frameworks within being a creative that are limiting. So whereas creativity is supposed to be a playground of you doing what you want to do, and it's supposed to be almost like it's controlled chaos almost. Like as a creative, like sometimes I have to slow down because I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of that, and then your creativity, the energy behind it allows you to then reel it in to produce an amazing product. But it's like also too, is creativity is also supposed to be about freedom. So like as an artist, as a creative, tell me about things that you have done to harness your creativity and produce a positive product and missteps that you've had that's led to negativity.
I wouldn't say it was a misstep because it was part of the experience as we spoke about. But I think anything that feels like I'm going against my spirit has been a thing of like, nah, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's important to jump, to take the leap, and then you start figuring out you got mad parachutes on the way down. It's like got a lot of parachutes, you know what I'm saying? So It's good to try shit. And I'm still currently as an artist, like even right now, just like I'm going through it right now, going through the transition right now. Like who I am today is not who I was 90 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm creating this person now, and I think that that's the beautiful thing about life.
Mm-hmm.
And to carve yourself out and figure out, like, let's see what we gonna get out of this. Let's see where this is gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And just having 100% focus on that. You know, I think Jay said that joint where Big told me, remind yourself, nobody built like you design yourself.
There you go.
On social media, to take it back to the social media part, right? I think that social media has given a lot of people voices that necessarily might not have voices in real life, right? Where people, they might experience something and they go straight to social media with their emotions, and instead of sitting in their
That's
emotions.
funny you said that.
Yeah.
That's funny you said that. Go ahead. I got something.
They, you know, man, we in this era now where it's like a lot of people, they'll say things online that they won't say in person.
Right.
And that's another thing that we don't know the results of what this is going to look like, because, you know, you can't just say anything and everything and not have a repercussion for it.
Right. It's funny that you said it, because I just one of the posts that we had last week was about not running to celebrate, to announce your wins and losses on social media.
For what? Yeah, exactly.
Like actually taking the time to live with what you're experiencing, have an organic experience with that, and then if you want to share it, you're probably going to share it in a different way.
I'm about to fuck it up right here. You ready?
Go ahead.
Why do we feel like we have to show off to other people that we're doing good?
Strong question.
Why?
I think the answer would be we're seeking gratification.
And acceptance.
We're seeking gratification, and I would support that. Acceptance.
So is social media the new drug for that, to fix that?
I would think so.
Do you know how bad that's going to affect the next generation behind it?
I think so. And I think it shows areas of improvement in your personal life to where you feel like you have to go get gratification from others versus seeking it from those that you say that love you and is directly surrounded by you.
That's it.
That's what I think. That's what I think is the biggest impact is making sure that we seek the gratification from those in our circle versus those that are strangers to us on social media.
I think the first thing is yourself, right? Finding it in yourself.
Hey, are you looking for your dream home in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina? Well, look no further. Noire Group is Charlotte's premier real estate brokerage. Their team of experienced agents will work to find you the perfect property in the most sought-after neighborhoods. Whether you are a first-time home buyer or looking to upgrade, Noire Group has a diverse range of options to fit your unique needs and budget. Their slogan, "Find out why we're different," makes them your premier real estate choice. Trust them to guide you through the buying process with professionalism and expertise. Contact Noire Group of Charlotte today at 704-397-3661 and by visiting wearenoire.com and let them help you find your perfect place to call home. Noire Group of Charlotte, North Carolina. But I think that's the biggest thing too, is like just finding out like how can we as individuals really, really build like an ecosystem around us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to a strong ecosystem to where we feel like we don't have to go to social media to seek gratification.
Watch this. All right. If you take social media away, right, then the person is stripped of all of the extras, right? And then you got to look at what the person really has to offer. And nobody wants to admit what they really got to offer because ain't nobody really doing the motherfucking work. If you do the work, it's going to show. You feel me? This new era it's all fake, dog. Everything is fake. It's all fake.
Do you feel like
it's too many? Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's just too many. It's too many people that's not like that acting like they like that. And there's too many people who haven't put in no work, showing you could pull up right now. We can go across the street and go stand in front of a Ferrari and be like, today was a good day. Like, how goofy is that, dog? We could go to the hotel lobby, me and you.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna do a whole day for us. we could go to the hotel lobby, the best hotel lobby out this joint, and be like
the Ritz.
You ready? Living like this ain't easy. Watch this. Then we gonna slide. You ready? We gonna go to the jeweler and we gonna be like, yo, can I try on one of them watches? And we gonna be like, just left the jeweler. It's about to turn up now. Like, this is what we doing. Like,
where we at for dinner? Where we at for dinner with the plates on the table?
Man, well, we gonna hit McDonald's, but we ain't gonna tell them we gonna hit McDonald's. We gonna slide to Roof Chris, right? We gonna go in and we gonna ask them, can we get a bag, right? Just because we got some stuff we need to get out the car. We can go outside. Hey, yo, you wildin'. Take this picture of me real quick. Like, yo, eating good. Like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, am I tripping? Am I the only one in here that knows that, like, this is what's going on
this
right
is real.
now? Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is real.
This is really happening right now. People care more about how many likes they get or followers than what's in their bank account of their spirit, their soul, the people around them, their money.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what we doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like, what's your social currency? What's your spiritual currency?
Yeah.
Like, what is how many followers you got on your health report?
Man, come on.
Like, how many, like, I think there was a thing that, it was an article that came out that talked about how many billionaires had like 400 followers. Because they're more focused on what's happening in real life than what's happening on social media.
Yeah.
And the more and more you tap into social media, the more and more you understand and you're more present with yourself, you realize that you're making decisions based on what's going on in social media and not what's going on in your real life. And it's almost like a deterrent for you to check in with yourself and say, like, how am I doing spiritually?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me make notes of this. Like, how am I doing with my health?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on social media every day, but I ain't been to the gym in 2 weeks. You know, how am I doing spiritually? If you were a churchgoer, you go to your local mosque, you're a spiritual person and you're meditating and you're focusing on your journaling, you're focusing on the I am. When's the last time I journaled? I checked my journal, it's been a month. My finances. Like I haven't been saving like the way I said I was. But you find time for social media, but you don't find time to grow in the areas that actually have meaning to you.
The game has changed. This life thing has changed, man. This is the new crack. I feel like it's really that deep.
It is a drug.
Because it's numbing. It numbs so much inside of our internal space that we don't, bro, I see, and I hope my aunt and my uncle and my father, they don't see this, but bro, they in their 60s on social media.
Facebook.
We at the house and I'm looking and everybody on their phones. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. They 65 years old. Like, what do you feel like you gotta...
Facebook is their game.
No, Instagram now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They all on Instagram.
Yeah, that's why I love that game whenever you go out with a group of friends and everybody put their phone on the table.
Yeah.
And whoever picked their phone up first got to pay the bill.
Yeah.
Because it's teaching you to be mindful. Like me and my girl, we try to do that as much as possible. It's like at a restaurant, like the phones are down, like let's engage with one another. And it's really that's the beauty of like a lot of people. I love how like my dad can I can't never get him on the phone because his phone is always over there and he over there.
That's OG. I like that.
It's like, bro, you got kids. Your kids is calling you. But your phone is over there. Yeah. Like I left the crib this morning. Like he doesn't even sleep up with his phone near him. So it's like it's just like he's so detached from his phone. It's just like whatever.
Can I ask you something? It might be a little personal.
Go ahead.
How is it in your relationship? How does the social media, or has it ever affected anything in your relationship?
No, because like I'm a person that since I'm aware.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of that entity within relationships and social media.
Mm-hmm.
So I addressed it early.
Mm.
So like even when me and her were just dating, I addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversations progressed throughout our relationship. And it actually by naturally having that conversation and her being accepting, allow me to post her at my freedom and actually be proud of it because I wasn't forced to do it. Whereas a lot of times, whether it's man or a woman that's encouraging the other person to post me or you're liking this type of content or you're sharing this type of content. Whereas if you engage in those conversations early in a healthy way about like, how does this look for us? What are your concerns with this? What are some things that you like or things that you want? Then you're able to then navigate social media with freedom. So I don't have concerns of like, I don't have to post my girl once a week or post her once a month or whenever it may be. But guess what? Like I'm at the crib or let's say not TMI, I'm sitting on the toilet and I want to post my girl. I can do that and be proud of that moment. And it actually feels good and authentic whenever you do it. Because that's no different. It's funny that you say that question because that's no different. Being in a relationship and posting your significant other because that person is pressuring you to post him is no different from you then posting crazy content because you're trying to keep up what's going on social media. How is that any different? You're not intentionally posting your significant other and you're not intentionally posting
I think it's
the videos and other things that you're posting.
I think I'm guilty of it too, but I think it's all bullshit for real because it's like, this is the thing. When I looked at my page at one time and I'm like, damn, my wife, my children, my business, I said, what am I? It's like me going to a club and I'm a married man. It's like, what are you doing here? So for me on social media, I started feeling like I'm happy in real life. Why am I? It makes me look like I'm bragging. Why am I for me? You feel me? I can only speak on me, dog. I can't speak on everybody else. But I don't want to come off like that. I don't want to come off like I feel like because I've gotten to a certain space in my life, I'm better than. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
And my uncle taught me a lot of that. Like, he was very big on like, he would buy the Maseratis. He would buy the new S550.
I mean, I still like my nice shit. You know what I'm saying?
He would buy it, but he was the type to never post it. Because he was like, I don't need to because I'm enjoying this right now in real life. Like I'm enjoying driving the car off the lot. Like I'm enjoying, and he was also from the old school OG perspective of like, you don't show a lot of people of what you have because you have a lot of eyes on you that's just scrolling and becoming envious.
So watch this. That was the whole purpose of what I was saying with like your fiance, my wife. Why am I going to show my prized? This is my prized thing. If you know you can't get to me, you gonna try to, you understand? So for me, it's as a man in this world, these are my prized possessions.
You're trying to protect those.
You don't
things.
have access to it. You don't need access.
You're limiting your access.
This is my, you know?
Right.
At once, but I didn't realize it until I was in a rabbit hole of like, what am I doing all this for? For a look? I'm really like that. Why I gotta do that for? They know what's up. Delete all the shit. Literally, my wife, man, we went to the mountains, dog. My sons and everybody, I gave my phone to my son. I'm like, delete all of it. And he like, Dad, what you talking about? I'm like, delete it all. I'm getting calls from people that's in the record bit. Yo, what you doing? Like, yo, you know, like right now, it's a lot of people looking at you. I don't care nothing about it.
Oh yeah.
You know
they're trying to push the lifestyle. They're trying to push the, and that's one thing. Like Earn Your Leisure prides themselves on is like their ability to teach financial literacy without pushing lifestyle. So like without standing in front of the Ferrari, without standing in front of the Rolls Royce, they still teach that you need to invest in the stock market. They still teach that you need to get a Roth IRA without selling lifestyle.
And for the right, they know their market.
They're doing it intentionally like, yo, you need this information and we don't care if it's sexy or not. Like we're going to still give you the information. But a lot of times like people like to, like you mentioned the Ferrari, they like to try to teach you about real estate in the Ferrari so that the lifestyle will inspire you more than the information will.
Now watch this. What you just said, we want to give you this without making it sexy. What you mean by that?
We're not going to dress it up or make it more than what it is.
All right, boom. Okay, hold on. It's something with that.
Like just like a woman can wear a certain type of attire, and she can be gorgeous, in a sweatsuit, the same way she could be gorgeous with her ass out. You know what I mean? So it's like you can do the same thing with. That's what we do here. Like we just giving you raw, uncut conversations of things that you need to go listen to with your mama, your sister, your children, everybody can learn from it. We're not going to dress it up. We're not going to say crazy stuff to make it go viral. We're not going to put crazy thumbnails on YouTube. We're not going to put crazy effects on it just to be corny.
Authenticity.
And to sell lifestyle because somebody else is doing that and they're getting a lot of views.
So this is this is the long way, but the long way is the way.
This is the hard way.
Chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Take the long route.
Yeah.
I think that's what more we need to be teaching to the youth. You know, people that really really got it. They not going out of their way to show nobody they have it.
And I think and too, like we had an episode here in the past, and we just posted the clip on Instagram.
Yeah.
That Jiaani said that his grandmother says that their generation had the will without a way, and we have the will. We have the way without the will. So they had all grit, all internal inspiration, all will to want to succeed, but didn't have a lot of way to do it. They had a lot of barriers in society, laws, voting limitations, not being able to progress in your career, drinking out of a black-only water fountain, eating at a only black-only lunch counter, didn't have opportunity, right? Whereas we have all the opportunities in the world without the will to actually go out here and do it. Without the internal motivation to go out here and get it.
Because what they do is they give the people distraction. You can distract their mind, the body falls. So this is a distraction. It's a tool as well. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people have come up also, but you have to overstand it.
No, the mind is the mind is the tool of the body. Yeah. So what you put into your mind and how you use your mind to navigate throughout life, it's the compass that's steering you on the direction that you need to go.
Right.
And so if we can control the mind, what we watch on social media, the conversations that we have, the frequency of those conversations, the vibration of the person that we are when we're carrying around, then we can control, right? We can control the frequency and the level that we're on simply by controlling what goes into our mind. And so I think it's critical for us to continue to lock in, stay focused, be conscious of self. I think we spoke a lot about the I am, right? The I am is being the awareness of self, the awareness of the now. Like that's why I'm a major advocate for Eckhart Tolle, because the whole book about the power of now and his other book, A New Earth, is the mixture of those two concepts is that the only thing that's real is the now. The past doesn't exist. The future doesn't exist. You can't meet a man that lived in the future. And if you meet a man that lives in the past, he is not present in the now. The now is all that exists. So we have to be conscious in every conversation, in every interaction that we have. And A New Earth is about simply renewing the mind so that everybody is thinking on such a high frequency that we're living in a society of high frequency, of high vibration.
Be yourself, man. That's the biggest thing, man. Be yourself.
And make sure that version of yourself is the version that you're proud of.
And spend time to figure out what the hell yourself is. That could take 6 months. That could take a year. That could take 4 years, 5 years. You don't know. But, you know, you got to eliminate the distractions to be able to find what that looks like.
Amazing conversation, man.
All the time, bro.
I only said amazing one time during the interview. I think everybody's laughing.
Is that like your thing?
That's my thing, man. I wear that word out.
You know, I feel like with me and you, I feel like we just getting warmed up. Yeah. So we got to set aside time to be able to really converse.
Yeah. And
it's like layups with us. And then we start shooting towards the end.
We're working on some things and people will see it in the future. Sure. And I think that's the biggest thing for us is like me and you both are students and advocates for authenticity. And so like, I think it's vitally important for everything that we do to be intentional and authentic.
I agree.
So that you can look back at your life 20 years from now, 25 years from now, and be proud of what you do. Like, you're not a sellout. You didn't compromise your morals. You're standing on morals, values, and principles of who you are.
That talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, talk that
talk. That's who you are, and that's what runs in your DNA.
Yes, sir.
So we want those things to run in our DNA. Just being a stand-up guy. Yeah. An authentic person.
Yes, sir.
And being a person that stands on the principles and the morals. That they can say, okay, I'm proud of who I am. Yeah. Just be the I am.
Yeah. I love it.
Much love, man.
I love it all the time, bro.
Much love, man.
Yes, sir.
It's a good one, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, I was in here cold.
Put me on the Celestine prophecy. Nothing here is stopping me. Consciously or bodily, low energy don't bother me. Love is my priority, so my vibrations 444 sonically. My brain working out, meditation, my cardio. They hid it from us in the books. You provided the audio.